Hey, what's up followers? Dave here from CNC3D. So in this video today, we're going to be talking about the awesome new G-code wizard that we've added into our CNC3D Commander software. So for those of you that are familiar with Commander, you'll know that there's two ways that you can choose to run or load a job, and that is either to stream it via option number 1 here, or if you've got a Nighthawk or an X-Pro V5 or one of our Nighthawk scribes, then you can load them directly onto the Nighthawk and choose to run them from this list. Now, where we keep the G-code wizard, if you select one of these jobs here and click on setup/info, this is where usually a lot of information about your job lives. Now, the new button is down here under G-code wizard. So if we click on this button, basically it's going to give you a visual representation in wire mesh mode of the path that your job is going to travel, including the Z-axis movements. And basically it gives you a list of all of the G-code on the side here. And you have your basic project options at the top to either open another file or to save a copy of this of the modified G-code, but there's a few different things that you can do. Like for example, you could just choose to manually edit any of these lines. So we've got this, G2, X50. Let's just change this to say 2 and press enter. And you can see that it's just blown out these huge rings on there by us just changing that one line of G-code in the middle. So if you want to undo that, you can either do the usual Control Z in order to recover it, or you do have undo, redo buttons here if you ever do travel into something and you think, oh dear, I don't remember what the number was. You can always recover very quickly. Now, other than you simply being able to, double click on a line and then modify what it is, you can also go up the top here to the tools option. Now in here, there's a whole bunch of awesome tools specifically designed to modify and tweak your existing G-code. Like for example, you can click on the scale button here and you can choose to actually adjust the size. Now the way that the numbers in here work is it will remember the last scale that you previously selected or for any of these values in here. So the last time I was playing with this particular tool, I chose 200% as the scale. So essentially every time you adjust the scale, it will reset each time back to the original value. So we've got it set to 200. Let's just hit OK. And you can see here that it has expanded it out. Now it is important to note that it will still follow the original path that it took, which means things like your step over have now doubled in size. So you need to be a little bit careful with things like this because it's still going to follow the same path, just physically bigger, but it gives you the option of being able to adjust this. So if you needed to say increase something by just 0.5 mil and you didn't want to recreate the whole thing back in your cam, this may be an easy workaround for you that may still give you exactly the same results. Now let's just undo this just to get it back to our normal size and take a look at some of the other tools. So you can obviously choose to do a rotation here. Now 33.57 is just something I was playing around with earlier. I'm just going to say do 52 degrees in here. Now you can choose in here to do it from the program center or from the origin 00 or a custom point if you wish, and then just hit OK to commit it. And you can see that it's rotated the entire job. So this is handy if you wanted to say, for example, you've used the angle probing tool within Commander, and you can see that you're, say, 1.2 degrees off being completely square on your stock. In relation to your machine, then you can basically just rotate it by the 1.3 degrees. And say, for example, if you wanted to upload this, we could go to export, and then we could literally just overwrite this on the machine itself to replace the original file, or you can just choose to do it as a copy. So let's just go ahead and do that. And then now if we go back into Commander, we can actually see that it has uploaded this GWiz file back on here. So you could actually choose if you wanted to go ahead and run this. But we're just going to stay in here for now, and we're going to take a look at some of the awesome features that it has. So let's just undo this back to normal. Now we'll go into tools. So you can obviously choose to do a mirror on the X-axis or a mirror on the Y-axis. You can choose to physically move the 0 start position if you wish. So for example, we could adjust X by 50 mil. We could do Y by say 50 mil as well. And if we hit OK, we can see that it's now added an additional 50 mil of travel from the original job 0 position. So let's just undo this just to get it back to normal. If we go in here, we can also choose to adjust the Z depth. Now we'll have a look at our current Z that is on here now. So this has been a heavily requested feature as well, where some people may ever so slightly just want to adjust the overall depth of the whole job. You now have the luxury of being able to do that. So if you go up the top here to tools and go to Z depth, again, so you can see here that it says minus equals deeper. So if we wanted to make this entire carving, say, 5 mil deeper than it currently is, and obviously you can see here that there's like a cutting threshold here for Z, and there's a scale, and basically you can choose to apply this to either the entire job or to one line only. And obviously you can choose for the cutting threshold is for this value here to basically ignore some minor Z moves that otherwise you wouldn't really need to scale because they're simply too small to worry about. Now you can leave that on or off by default. It really doesn't matter too much, but obviously 0 is going to be nothing. And then if you just hit OK, it will go ahead and basically increase the overall thickness of the Z. So let's put that into perspective and just do Control Z versus Control Y. And you can see that it has increased the overall height of the Z completely on the job there. So that is basically how you can adjust the overall Z of the job. Now you can choose to adjust the feed rate at any point in time. If you select multiple lines in here as well too, and try to go into a respective tool, say for example the feed, you can either choose to do the selected lines, the entire job, or just specific lines in between. So it's up to you what you wish to apply, and that will allow you to basically override all of the feed settings. So you can choose an exact value for this, or you can choose the scale option. It's entirely up to you. It saves you needing to use the feed override setting. You can just change it, for example, from say, if it was 2000 millimeters per minute on any values, they would now be 1000 if you chose to set an exact value, or you can just scale them from whatever they are if they vary throughout the job. And obviously you can choose to do it for the entire job or not. Now you can see basically that there is particularly highlighting in here or colors that are used, and we're going to cover the reason why in a second. But let's just restore everything back here to where it was. And let's go up the top here to tools. And we're going to take a look now at, say, for example, some of the cooler stuff, like, for example, the custom rules, where you can basically choose what to happen at any point within the job. So, for example, if you choose entire job, so you can look for something within the G code. So, say, for example, for anything that contains M3, and then you can choose for the exact word match or the exact command match. Before you see that, you wanted to do something in here, and you have a whole bunch of templates that are very common that you may want to do. Say, for example, if you were a plasma user, just before it's about to light your plasma arc, so say you've made this G code in something else, you can get it to do a probing routine. Like we can probe Z down and set the 0. And basically with all of these values, you can type something in. So we can say put 10 mil, which means it's going to try for 10 mil. If you click anywhere in these red values, you can just overwrite these straight away. So obviously here it's asking us to choose our feed rate. And then obviously you've got the thickness of your plate or what your offset is going to be. So then we can say, for example, say that it has to travel, say 3 mil in order to contact before setting the 0. So we can say that this is in fact going to be -3, so that because it has to over travel in order to push downwards. And then for our retract height, you could basically set this to something like your pierce height that would be very common for the purposes of plasma. So you can put that in there. Alternatively, you can just completely dismiss this line. Basically, these tools in here are just designed to make it easy for you to be able to change certain things, like you can add a dwell, how long do you want it for 4 seconds, for example, which can happen after you fire the M3 very typically. And then basically all it will do is it will see the M3 and it will just follow on from there. So basically everything should work together as it travels through. So if we just click on insert, so it couldn't specifically find any lines, that were specifically calling M3 on their own. And if we have a look, we don't see any whatsoever within this job. So they're not actually in here. So that's why I didn't find any. But what it would do is it would normally apply all of those rules in there for you. Now, the other cool thing is you can do some basic selection. For example, you can choose to select anything that's at a particular Z level. So if there's multiple Z levels in your job, we can basically choose them. So we can choose this one here. And what it will do is it will select any of the parts that are part of that particular height of Z. So you can see it's just this one block in here. And then obviously if you wanted to use any of the other tools in here, you could go through and choose them and choose to do a custom rule just for things, say, within that range. It's entirely really up to you what you want to do. I've tried to keep it open-ended. Now, this is the very cool one that you guys have asked for, and I wanted an easy way to do it to make it as universal as possible, and that is the ability for us to tile jobs. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go into tile job, and it's going to give you a whole bunch of options here. So the first thing is you need to decide which axis you actually want to slide it on. So, and it gives you a good representation on the side here of exactly what's going to happen on the job when it's actually running. So you know pretty much what to expect. Now, obviously in this case here, we've asked it to drill dowel holes. So, by the way, all of these values, if you hover over them, it will give you a description of what they do. So please feel free to just read through these things so you can get this right. But basically, we've set it up so that this particular version of doweling will automatically put dowels on the job for you. So, for example, we're going to choose the option. We're going to enable the drill doweling. We're going to use you can either choose to select a cutter from the end mill library in here. So we'll just leave what's in there, 6 mil at the moment. We'll leave that as it is for now. It also gives you a list of the tools that are currently in the job that you may want to use for that. Rather than needing to do an unnecessary tool change, you could say, for example, choose the 4 mil end mill and be done with it. Alternatively, you can choose obviously a larger end mill or a different end mill to do the cutting with. For example, if your only tool was a V-bit and you were doing a giant V engraving, you're going to want to use like a flat bottom end mill in order to do a dowel hole. So you're probably going to be choosing something like this flat here. So you can select from library and then you can choose from in here what size you want. And basically select that tool. Now there's certain things, so the dowel hole diameter 8 mil, the hole depth below 0. So this is how deep you want to go. So you might want to do that at something like 15 mil because you may also want it to go into your spoil board so that you have the dowel holes in there as well so you can easily align things. Or you might have it on a sacrificial bit of stock, but either way, it's going to plunge to whatever depth you actually ask it to go. So make sure you have the Z clearance on your cutter in order to be able to go the respective depth that you're after. Now you can obviously do your depth per pass, so it'll do some pecking for you in order to reach that depth for the dowel holes. You can choose your plunge rate, and then basically the holes outside job edge by millimeter. So for example, it's going to look at what this current job size is, and it's going to try to position the dowels whatever distance away from, say, this edge here and this edge over here to put one dowel hole and another one over there. So now if we go ahead and just click on Tile Job, you'll see that it's stacked everything together and it's got these dowel holes that it's now going to put in here using this other 6 mil cutter. And you'll notice that this little bar in here actually shows you the lines as you go through, and you can see the difference is where the tool changes are occurring. So this is where it wants to go ahead and position all of the dowel holes in order to be able to do the job so that you can actually do this in 2 halves. But that's basically what it's doing. Now, the reason why this looks a little bit skewy to us now is basically because we've essentially taken the job, we've cut it into 2 pieces, and we've asked it to be basically pieced together separately, so from the same 0 position. So this is actually an accurate representation of what this G-code job would be doing. But the way that we've set this up now is if you were to go ahead and export this job and choose to save this as a copy. Now, this job could easily fit within the boundaries of our machine, but we just wanted to test this. So if you go upload as a copy, What it will actually do in this particular job is when it comes time to do a manual tool change, which we already have set up within Commander automatically. So whenever it sees these T commands in there, it's going to stop and pause the job on your end. And basically, rather than telling you that it's time for you to run or change to a new tool, it will actually tell you. If we go to setup/info, you can actually see that there's a new tile step in here, which is actually now T3. So this will give you an opportunity to slide your sheet, and it tells you exactly 60 mil along. So that will show up on the screen telling you basically what you need to do for the tile and where you need to move it to, and then for you to insert your dowel pins. So for you to be able to do the dowel pins. And that is basically how you can tile. And then you can just choose to resume your job and essentially do the second half. So look, I don't have this connected up to a machine right now to run through and do a physical version on there, but you guys are more than welcome to experiment with this. And as usual, give us as much feedback as you possibly can, and we're going to try our best to make things as good as we can for you. So thanks for your support, guys, over the years. I hope this is going to be a really, really handy job for you guys in order to be able to, obviously run this. And be able to, get the most out of your machines. So thanks again, guys. Have a great day, and we'll catch up real soon.